The white gunman who killed 10 people at a supermarket in Buffalo, New York earlier this year has pleaded guilty to murder and terrorism charges.
The shooter's plea means he'll be sentenced to life in prison without parole, but he's also charged with federal hate crimes, which could lead to the death penalty if convicted. The 19-year-old gunman posted online threats or mentions that he was targeting the store because it was in a predominantly black neighborhood. Earlier, Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown spoke on his comments and the community's resilience in the face of this awful tragedy.
Buffalo is a model for the nation and a model for the world, and how we came together after this horrible situation. We showed that love conquers hate, that hate will not win, that love will win, and that love is the answer.
For the first time in nearly 40 years, the world's largest active volcano, MaunaLoa, is erupting on Hawaii's Big Island. Right now, lava is flowing down the mountain, but we're told it's not putting anyone in danger at this point. But an ashfall advisory is in effect, and shelters are open. Let's bring in meteorologist Tom Sater. Tom, this volcano is so large, it covers half the island. But lava isn't so much the concern, it's the air. So help us understand.
Right. Back in 2010, a volcano in Iceland erupted on it. I'm sure you remember this. It's known for shutting down the world. The volcanic ash in the eruption shuts down airspace. You can't fly in it. So for a couple of weeks in Europe, there were no flights. Now, we don't have that problem yet unless we have another eruption. So just to get your bearings straight, here's Honolulu, well to the northwest. Here's the Big Island. Notice shaded in gray. That is the ashfall advisory. It's been extended till 10 a.m. because of the ash. And it can be toxic. When it rains, it can be very acidic. It'll damage the crops. Livestock, unfortunately, will be harmed with this. Let's take a Google image of this. You can actually see the past lava scars here in the center. But this is the outline of MaunaLoa. So yes, the largest volcano on our planet woke up this morning, and we do have some concerns. Now, scientists, local scientists, volcanists, they've been watching this since June and monitoring the activity. This is the caldera, all right, when you get to the peak. Now, what I'm going to outline here for you, this is the lava that has been building upwards, all right? So the pressure is building. When you have that, obviously you're going to have to release that pressure. It can be from an eruption, or sometimes we have these fissures around the sides. It's like steam vents. And sometimes they can erupt and you'll see a collapse on the volcano. But notice all the burn scars. You go back to 1843. Between 1843 and 1950, on average, MaunaLoa would erupt every 3.5 years, like clockwork. From 1850 to today, it's 5 years. And the reason for that is it just went through the quietest period in history of 38 years, 1984. Hawaiian Ocean View Estates, well down to the southwest. Now, when we look at the images of this is the caldera infrared image. So again, they've been monitoring this. They took a flight over this morning. Here's the satellite imagery. Look where Hilo is. That's a concern because when that volcanic ash slides over a community, obviously can be toxic. So authorities are saying wear a mask. And again, the land around volcanoes is the most fertile in the world. So that's why farmers work this. So that's a concern for farmers right now in their livestock. Right now we are seeing some lava flows, but it's confined to the peak. Remember Kilauea. Just 2018, dramatic images of the lava flows coming through the communities, scorching homes across roadways, making its way eventually to the ocean waters. But again, this is video of that scene from this morning. So yes, we still have pressure building on them. There could be another eruption, but right now the advisory only till 10 locally because we haven't seen a massive eruption. But again, when you look at the activity, this is all earthquakes, and they've been watching, and it's really been picking up in intensity. You'll see it really get yellow with the eruption early this morning. So again, largest volcano waking up, at least slowly.
Yeah,
slowly waking up.
And those
like
images are really something. I feel that way,
yes.
Especially after Thanksgiving. I think I'm still trying to shake myself from my food coma. Right. Tom Sater, thank you so much.
This strategy that the Russians are using is very much designed to coincide with the change in the weather because of the change in seasons. And among those target sets is the Ukrainian infrastructure, particularly the electricity grid, followed by the heating system. And depending on what kind of winter actually develops in Ukraine, whether it's a cold winter, a hot winter, or something in between, the course of the war will depend on those particular changes. Winter is going to play a defining factor in every single part of the country. What I think that the Ukrainians will probably do is they were most likely to move more in the south, given warmer climatic conditions. They can try to continue their momentum and move forward if they establish a bridgehead on the other side, on the eastern bank of the Dnipro River. The one thing that can stop them from doing that, from taking over that plain, would be the weather. And if it gets too warm and things get muddy, that could potentially present some difficulties in terms of forward movement. It could also prevent them from being able to encircle Russian forces or move them out of those areas. Again, it would depend on the condition of the Russian forces and their ability to adapt to the climate as well. Now, the other thing that they could do is they could move into the eastern areas. So these areas get very cold very quickly in the winter months. Doesn't mean that movement is necessarily prevented, but this area has in parts been occupied by the Russians since, and their separatist allies, since 2014. So what you would possibly see in the east is kind of a seesaw battle between the two forces. If the Ukrainians can hold it together through these winter months, and they can take advantage in some respects of the cold temperatures, and if they can move things forward, they could potentially take portions of the Donetsk and Luhansk oblasts. That would be a bit of a sea change. There would be other difficulties that they could potentially encounter there, but climatically that is a possibility if they find their movement in the south is stopped. The Russian strategy is going to be one of attrition, to grind down the Ukrainians. They'll do that militarily. They will try to stabilize the front lines in the south and the east. They will try to sit out any storms that may occur during the winter months, whereas the Ukrainians, on the other hand, they are going to rely on a war of movement as much as they possibly can. They want to gain as much territory, or regain as much territory as they possibly can before they are forced to stop, whether that stop occurs because of weather conditions, logistical conditions, or political considerations. Ukrainians cannot afford to have a stalemate. The Russians want a stalemate, and that these two different forms of warfare are what are clashing on the fields of Ukraine right now.
A state of emergency has been declared in the Italian island of Ischia after a huge landslide there on Saturday morning. 7 people have died, 5 others are still missing. Some residents say they've been digging mud from their shops and houses without official help because the rescue operation has been overwhelmed. Our correspondent Mark Lowen travelled to the island and sent this report.
Rescuing the fragments of once tranquil Ischia, divers picked out what they could after the mudslide that cascaded through this island, tossing what lay in its path into the ocean or into each other. Some cars battered beyond recognition as torrents of mud poured down here. They scoured the seas for wreckage and bodies. With the number of deaths growing and reports of islanders still missing, the fear is that as more areas are reached, other victims will be found. It began before dawn on Saturday after torrential rain, the deepest and most sudden on record here, unleashing the chaos that tore down the hills. From above, the destruction was clear, with houses buried, many of them illegally built and buckling from the onslaught. What lay in its wake swept into the sea.
Well, this just shows the weakness of man against nature. While a crane and a whole team are needed to lift just one vehicle, the mudslide hurled so many of them with its force. When the torrent of debris and earth came hurtling down here, little could withstand it.
Up the hill, the desolation deepens, a whole square under mud, desperate attempts to save what they can. We found Rafaela devastated by the destruction of her shop that rents motorbikes to tourists.
My son has shut himself indoors because he doesn't want to see any of this. He feels ill because he's seeing all of our sacrifices were worthless. I hope someone will help us. I'm speechless.
With rescue teams inundated, her husband and elderly father have had to step in to help clear the mud.
I feel destroyed for my daughter, of course. We'll try and see if someone will help, because we've worked all our lives to build this, and all of a sudden it disappeared.
Supplies have been brought for dozens evacuated from their homes, put up in hotels, guests on their own island. Larissa from Ukraine has lived here for 20 years.
I came out shouting to my husband that our neighbours had lost their daughter and her baby. I was back in Ukraine during the war. Then I came here and our houses are destroyed and people are missing. How could this happen?
Then a mass to bring solace to those seeking answers in tragedy. Their minds turned to the moment the earth broke away and engulfed their lives, an island overwhelmed by itself. Mark Lowen, BBC News, Ischia.